Hello YouTubes! Welcome back, guys. It is a couple of days till Halloween. I got a box here we got to open and we got to do a little bit of display for it and throw it some love. I got a message from brother Glenn McCain over at Savage Zombies on Facebook. He says, Cobwebs, I got the deal of a century for you. He goes, I know you need the swamp thing. He goes, I got this little swamp bugger you could use. So we made a wheel and deal. Glenn sent it over here and we're going to unbox this sucker and see what it is. We got to show it a little bit of love and get ready to go in the yard next to the swamp witch. So brother Glenn's specialty is doing zombies and corpsing, and he made a little swamp bugger, and I thought, man, he's probably perfect. Let's take him, let's get him home, let's get him on a stand and get him outside in the yard. So let's see what he sent. I'm pretty excited. I saw the pictures and I thought, oh man, this thing looks awesome. So hopefully the pictures do it justice, and I'm sure Glenn's work, it probably will. He does awesome work. I will link his link below if you guys want to go check out Savage Zombies and go see what Glenn makes. Maybe pick yourself up something for your haunt. And this way. Okay. I think we're good. Alrighty. Okay. Ooh, got a little bit of cardboard. Alright, he's all wrapped up. Let's see. He's a little half body. Oh, look at him. Check him out. Look at this little guy. Oh, he's backwards. Look at that little disgusting body. Oh my god, that's so freaking creepy. Check him out. He's got little stringy hair. He's been corpsed. Oh man, how freaking cool. Glenn, you never cease to amaze me. He looks like a little swamp monster. How freaking cool is that? He's got all kinds of stuff in the box. Check it out. Oh man, we got us a project. We got us some work to do, peoples. So Glenn sent along a bunch of moss and some leaves. He's got it all torn apart for shipping, so that's cool. And then he sent us some more moss, so that's cool. We got plenty to stick on there. And then we got his little arms and legs. Or no, arms. He's a half body. So we got his little arms and legs. Well, his little legs, arms. So we're going to put this guy together. We got to make him some kind of base so he can go out in the yard. And we got to put some moss on him and get this guy dressed up, ready to go. So let's get to this project and bang this out so we can get it in the yard for Halloween. Alrighty, YouTubes. So I got his arms popped back on. Brother Glenn had him popped off for shipping. So this is what the little guy looks like. He's got some kind of little base torso at the bottom. I think we could run some screws on that. Put his hands where you want them. So he's got this little natural gangster lean back. Okay, maybe it's my table. We can work with that. I think what we're going to do is, let's cut a base for this guy. I got one of them $4 Menards boards. We'll slide a little base on under him. I could probably put screws right in that thing. Okay, we won't even need that whole board, just to kind of even them out a little bit. So let's say, here's where our little man goes. Come on, little man. And we'll make it a nice kind of round shape, just like we did for the trick-or-treater, something like that. Cool. That'll give us a little base. We'll run some screws through it. I'm going to go ahead and get the jigsaw out. I'm going to jigsaw this board out. I think I'm going to go ahead and paint it. I'll start with like maybe a dark green base. I got a couple of greens left over from the Anaconda. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. I'll put some green paint on it. I'll put some screws to the bottom and screw our little man down. And then we can start putting some, maybe we'll do some foam, like some black great stuff foam. We'll put some moss and some other stuff. I got some Spanish moss left over from other projects. We'll deck this guy out and make him a total little swamp monster. So I'm going to get this knocked out. I'm going to come back. We'll start back on him. Okay, YouTubes, so I went ahead and jigsawed out his board. This is just a nice birch scrap left from Menards. I got for like $3 or $4. They sell them for 2x2s and little 2x2 sheets that are offcuts. They're awesome to use. So it's a nice hardwood to stand up outside of the elements. I blasted a coat of green all over the thing just for the heck of it before we start layering everything. I did run some screws to the bottom of this little guy. So I've got 2 3-inch deck screws just to kind of hold him in place while we're going to foam him. And the last thing I did was for support, he's got this gangster lean, which I like. I wanted to look up, so if kids are walking past him, he's going to be looking up at him like he's digging out of the grave. So I took a rod, a fiberglass rod, and I put it in his back, and I just kind of propped him up in there. We'll foam around it. The rod is pretty easy to get. These are just snow fence rods. People in the southern states who don't get snow, you guys don't have no idea what snow fence is up here up north. Snow sucks. So we get temporary fences you put up, and you can get these at Tractor Supply Company. I think they're like $2 a piece. They're 4 or 5 feet long. You stab them in the ground, you wrap your snow fence on them. They work great for all kinds of projects, for skellies and everything else, giving them strength. So this guy's pretty sturdy right now. I'm happy with him. Let his arms free float out there. Got his base painted. I've got some great stuff. Pond and Stone. This is black great stuff. It's awesome stuff. I love using it. It's expensive. It's about $8 a can from Menards. Menards carries it. I don't know if anybody else carries it. I usually get mine at Menards. So I figure I'm going to try and fill in his base with some black great stuff. Make it look like graveyard dirt or something. And I probably got to pop a hole in this damn in this can. Let's see if anything comes out. Yep, I got to pop a hole in it. Okay, YouTubes, I got my nozzle cleaned out. We're good to go. Like I said, it's just black Pond and Stone, great stuff. It's black in a can. You ain't got to paint it. I love this stuff. I'm just going to stuff it in around here. No particular shape. We'll go around in his back, around that rod. Go around the base of him. Just to look like bog and dirt and scum and... We'll build it up, make them a little base, and then we can play with it and stab some stuff in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do his whole base. And then when I come back, while this stuff is still wet, I want to start poking some moss and some stuff in here while it's curing, because it'll bite into that stuff. It'll form right into the moss. It'll never come out or come off again. So I'm going to go ahead and foam this guy up. And then we'll start to put in some stuff around his base. Okay, YouTubes. So I got a bunch of this dollar store moss. Spanish moss. Pretty cool stuff. Man, I just want to make it look like a bog zombie. I'm just going to stretch this stuff around. Now the great stuff, you can touch it. But if you do, you'll crush it, and that's fine. So we got some little sticks in here, because this stuff's kind of dirty as is. I got some little tendrils going up to them, making it look like little vines or whatever, trying to crawl back up on them. And it ain't got to be perfect. You just want to smash it right down onto the great stuff. It'll never come loose. You can let some stuff hang off. You can smash this down into the great stuff. You can kind of sculpt the great stuff. See how it's sticking like that? Hey, that's perfect. Just drag it right over the top of that stuff. So I want to Spanish moss him up to make it look like a little bog zombie. We'll go all the way around to his back. Put some back here. Don't be afraid to kind of sculpt that great stuff and let it bite in there. And this stuff is better than glue, because once you put something in great stuff, it don't ever want to come out. We can go off the board, it don't matter. You don't have to cover the board completely. Maybe put a little up here by his neck. I got a vine coming around his back, so it looks like it got up on his neck. And just tuck it in, and this stuff is better than glue. So then I'm going to go ahead, and just dump this whole bag on him and spread it out. I think it's pretty cool where it's at. Kind of hide our little coils of great stuff foam. Spread this stuff out. Like I said, don't be afraid to mash it in and kind of sculpt that great stuff a little bit. Do a little up here on his shoulder. Oh yeah, I'm liking him already. Could even do a little bit on the back of his hands or through his fingers. Like I said, this is only dollar store moss. I love this stuff when it comes on sale. Buy 20 bags and hoard it. Alright. Now then, I think that's pretty cool. We can always add some more later. Maybe do a little more up here. Pick off what we don't like. Yeah, so we can always kind of just sculpt it and smash it down. And don't be afraid to get gooey. That's why I got the gloves on. And Glenn sent a bunch of little leaves along, so the little leaves you can poke in there. I think that's cool too. Yeah, something like that. We'll let this firm up a little bit first. These are heavier branches. We got these smaller ones we can tuck in there. So it looks like vines trying to reclaim this little swamp bugger and grow back up into them. Let's tuck one here on this side. And then we'll stick it right up against that great stuff in his rib cage. Alright, we tuck it all in there. Again, that great stuff's starting to firm up. That's cool. We can just smash this moss right down in there. It'll hold it better than glue. Glenn sent a bunch of pieces of little creepy cloth and stuff. That's pretty cool. He's got some dyed creepy cloth or something, so that's pretty awesome. We'll have to find a place for that. So let's see. I'm going to let this set up for a little bit. I'm going to play with him. Maybe put some more moss, maybe some on his arms and his joints and stuff. And then we'll put some more leaves and throw some more stuff on and get this little swamp booger dressed up. Okay, so he's getting there. Glenn sent all these dyed colors and pieces of like creepy cloth and stuff. Man, this stuff is really cool and ragged. I can just tear shreds and hunks off of it. I don't know what he dyed this with, but it's really cool. Like I said, I just go ahead and tuck it right into that black great stuff, let it squeeze out, and just kind of make the mix together, and let it all bite into each other, because that stuff will all cure like glue. It'll lock everything down. So I draped a little couple of pieces on the arm. Like, man, this stuff is really super cool. Maybe I should do some, a little bit over here on the shoulder. Make it look like some kind of remnants of clothing, maybe. Let it hang down over his chest a little bit. I'll just smash it right there in that black great stuff. Spread these leaves out. Let that hang down. And then we'll just tuck this right behind his back into the other great stuff. And now this stuff's getting kind of soft and mushy, where you can almost touch it and not get your finger stuck to it. So now you can really start mashing that stuff in there and pushing the air out of it and squeezing all this stuff in the base with however much you want. Put a little here. Make it look like it was the remnants of clothing when this guy was buried in the swamp and his clothes are stuck in there behind him and rotting. And I got a couple of dollar store cattails again. Once this foam is fully cured, I want to poke these cattails in here. I think that'll be a really cool addition to them. And again, for $1, I bought them all. Anytime I found them, I bought the stores out. I bought as many as I could. Okay, YouTubes. I went ahead and stuffed a bunch of crap on them. I went ahead and used the black foam again and just touched some more of the shredded cloth that Brother Glenn had sent. I think the last thing I really want to do cloth-wise on this guy is make like a little shawl for his head. So Glenn sent this piece. I kind of stretched it out, and it looks like it fits over the head. So I'm going to do a little bit of Super 77. I don't want to mess up that hair that's already there. I like the stringy hair look, and I'm trying not to hit the face. Well, you can put the Super 77 anywhere, it don't matter. And I want to make a little decrepit shawl for this little swamp bugger. Oh, that looks so cool. That's awesome looking. Maybe it's like one of the Swamp Witch's victims. I don't know. And we'll leave her hair out. I love seeing them gray stringy hairs mixed in with there. Anything we don't like, we just tear off and let it hang down. Alright, that's cool. Okay, I'm loving all that right now. The last thing I want to do is I want to add some of that bright green moss. And to do that, we're going to use good old DevCon. DevCon is my favorite. It's a 5-minute epoxy. I buy 5 packs off Amazon. They come with a little syringe. I got this one preloaded up to go. And because this is a little swamp zombie, I always like to do a glossy mouth and glossy eyes. So before we start putting the moss on, I'm just going to spray a little bit, or squirt a little bit, right on the eye. We'll do some in the mouth too, where those little fleshy bits are. Alright. And then I just want to take my little acid brush. Again, these are disposable acid brushes on Amazon. I use them a lot for doing caulk and stuff for the classic cars I do. But this is what really sells it. I got that little glossy eye. So it looks like it's nice and wet. We got some gloss down here in the mouth. So that muscle and stuff looks like it's rotten and oozing, which is another part I love. And since we're right there, I'm going to take a little bit of this moss, pinch off a little piece, and I'm going to tuck it right there in that mouth, just like that. That way you can still see the teeth exposed. But this thing looks like it's been in the marsh living for a bunch of years. In fact, oh man, let's stick a bunch in the hole. I love the empty eye socket. I don't want to put too much in there, but I just want to touch a little bit in there. And just squirt it around. And then we'll take another little tiny piece of moss, and we'll just tuck it right in that eye socket. I love that. Alright, so I'm going to go around, find some cool spaces to add this bright green moss, probably on top areas where the brightest stuff would be. Again, we just squeeze on a little bit of DevCon, tuck that in there, and in 5 minutes, it's permanent. It ain't never coming off unless you tear it off. I got this little trailing vine coming off that didn't stick to the plastic, which is actually kind of cool. So I figure, hey, I'm going to glue that up. Again, do a little more DevCon. Then I'll grab a little piece of moss and tuck it in there. And I'll glue it to itself and to the moss. Okay, YouTube, this little swamp zombie is just about done. I want to go ahead and plug a couple of more little cattails in it. I've got one back there kind of DevConned in place. I got a couple of other ones here that I don't know how much I'll use. But I figure I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of DevCon on just the stem. Come on, DevCon. Alright. I'll DevCon up the stem. And I'll just kind of poke it into random place. Maybe one up here. Yeah, so we got one up here under the armpit. Maybe I'll stick another one out in the back corner behind his arm. I love DevCon. Alright. Tuck one in the back here. Looking like a little swamp thing. Alright. I think we're good, man. I may do a little more. Do some rearranging, pull some of the loose stuff off. We're going to go out next. We're going to see this thing in the yard out by the swamp witch where it goes for Halloween. Alright guys, the swamp zombie is done. I got her down in the haunt where she needs to be, right in front of the demon summoning pot from the witch. Check her out. There's the witch, there's the snake. Like I said, I got that big yellow floodlight over there. And hopefully this little swamp zombie will catch some light, some yellow light. I'll find out tonight, I'll adjust it tonight. But I'll pull you guys off the tripod and give you a better look. Okay guys, here she is up close. I went ahead and dumped some moss on top of her head. I DevConned in the rest of the moss and the cattails where I wanted them. Got their little hands outstretched for her. Her, I guess, maybe it's a female, I don't know. But I'll show you the back. I got the leaves all kind of arranged where I want them and kind of glued into place. You can't see the rod anymore. The rod is covered by foam and by moss and by black grate stuff. So, man, I'm really happy with everything. Everything is looking super cool. I think she turned out great. I think Brother Glenn, he does have a website, which I will give to you guys at the end of this thing. But she is in her place in the haunt. And I think she looks good, man. She's got good company with the swamp witch up there. And the big anaconda. Man, I think it looks great out in the yard, though. I'm super happy with her. Alright, check her out. Okay, YouTubes, that's my swamp zombie. Thanks to Brother Glenn for sending that little guy out to me, and all I had to do was just put them together and base them out and basically finish them out for the rest of the way for the haunt. I'm always happy to have a new addition to the swamp family out there. Brother Glenn does have a website. It's SavageZombies.com. I will link it below. I will also link his Facebook page if you guys want to contact him and get your own little swamp bugger or swamp zombie. Or Glenn does a lot of corpsing. He does a lot of skeletons, all kinds of crazy stuff. Glenn's Hardcore Halloween. So I will leave his links below. So thanks to Glenn for sending it along. I'd also like to take this time to say, hey, if you guys ain't watching, look up the Trio of Terror on Facebook. Send along your projects. Vic Springston on his channel is Monster Misfits, and David the Weird Kid Show channel. Guys, we are not stopping building. We're going to go all through the winter time, all the way to next Halloween and beyond. There's no end in sight for us. If you guys are building stuff, show us your yard, show us your projects. Put it in a Trio of Terror Facebook page or the Cobwebs and Candlesticks Facebook page. We want to see what you guys are building. So until we see you again, keep it evil.